All right, welcome to the discussion. So my name is Hikmah. I am the host of the discussion tonight, and of course we have Sri Rahmawati here as our moderator that would lead the discussion. So some of you maybe join the discussion for the first time, and maybe some of you join the discussion for several times. So let me introduce OTA community first. So OTA is English club or English community. We are focusing on improve speaking ability. So we believe that when we discuss various things or different topics, it will improve our speaking skills. So actually, our main activity is a weekly discussion, right? Tonight. So we somehow find we invite a new contributor or a new moderator to give us a new topic. So every week there will be different topics like that. And yeah, all right. See, I think you don't have to change the slide. This is the introduction. Okay. And guys, let me introduce our contributor or our moderator tonight, Sri Rahmawati. She is a researcher in a social and community psychology. Actually, I have read her research, and the topic is also climate anxiety. So I believe that she is an expert in this topic. So you guys can also ask her a question, especially about the psychological factor, because she is a researcher in a psychological field. Yeah, that's it. Um, we have several roles in this discussion. So first, you guys are allowed to speak when the moderators give you permission to speak up. And also, you can use a raise hand icon if you want to ask a question or if you want to clarify something to the moderator, of course. But remember that the moderator should give you permission first. That's it. Okay. So I really hope to hear your opinion about this topic, and I hope that you can share with us. Do not hesitate to give your opinion. Don't only keep it in your mind. You have to give it to us because we're glad to hear that. All right, so without further ado, uh, let's start the discussion, and I'll hand it over to Sri Rahmati, please.
Thank you, Ms. Hikma. Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here today. Today, we are going to talk about climate anxiety in Indonesia, especially why many people may feel concerned about climate change, but still struggle to translate that concern into real action. So, what interests me about this topic is that globally, climate anxiety has become a widely discussed issue. However, in Indonesia, the discussion around climate anxiety seems less visible. Even though Indonesia is considered highly vulnerable to climate change impact, but something off in here about the discussion or maybe the climate action. So I hope that each of you will be motivated and eager sharing your perspective in regard to this theme. So now let's move on the first slide lah. Okay, before we go deeper on our topic, I want to know when you hear news about climate change, what is your first reaction? Is it concern, fear, curiosity, or maybe something else? So, anybody want to share their thoughts or their feeling about climate change? Please raise your hand or I'll point you. Okay, let's start with Miss Tari. Hello, Miss Tari. Are you here? Okay, guys, feel free to share your feelings. Hello, Miss Tari. Okay, maybe we move to the other participant, right?
All right.
Uh, how about Mr. Angi?
Okay, so my first reaction when I hear about news about climate change, I feel fear because I don't know in maybe a few years ahead. I don't know what will happen in our community, especially. Yeah, I think that's it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
So fear.
understandable why you feel fear because the certainty of our future, right?
Yeah, yeah, sure. Yeah, that's it. Like, uh, I'm I'm fear about uh how the climate change will do some what is it? Apa ya? Yeah, yeah. The climate change will give me a negative impact maybe in a few years.
All right. Um, there is somebody feel the same feeling, or maybe the others. Hello, Mr. Abby. Hello, Mr. Abby. Are you here?
Hey, yes, I'm here and ready to help. What do you need? What?
Hello, can you hear me,
Yeah.
guys? I'm
Yes, you are
so
audible.
sorry, my connection here is not stable.
Okay.
All right. Good evening, everyone.
Good name, Mr. Abby.
Talking about climate change in Indonesia, especially in my location right now, I live in Kalimantan. What is my first reaction about the climate change? I think unpredictable. The one word that describe my first reaction is unpredictable. So, concern, yes, fear and curiosity, but I just think about the impact. When the climate or the weather become unpredictable, it may be dangerous. So I think the impact. That's my in my opinion. Sorry if my voice, my audio not clear. It's very bad signal here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Abby. That's okay. So, you feel the unpredictable impact for your location, or let's say Indonesia, right? And mm, I think the negative impact of climate change become the most concern for you, right? Okay, due to the connection of Mr. AB, maybe we can move to the other participant. I'd like to talk with our host today. So, Miss Hikmah.
Yeah. All right. I think I agree with some of the audiences tonight. They're very concerned. For me, when the first time I heard about climate change, my reactions are fear and concern because you know that I think about our future generations. They might face um, what is it, extreme weather, and also they might face a food insecurity due to climate change. So they have to they have to, what is it, take responsibility for the things that they uh, don't cause or didn't cause the problem. So yeah, concern and fear, of course.
Thank you, Miss Hikmah. It's so interesting how can our concern of all most of all us is the same thing like the uncertainty and the negative impact of climate change in the future. So it's understandable why we feel that way. Okay, I see Mr. Angga Kusuma just joined us. Welcome, Mr. Angga.
Hello.
Hello. Do you mind to share your feeling about the climate change?
Yes, I will, but I'm still on the bus. Maybe I'll arrive in 5 minutes so that I can share my thoughts on this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Angga. Okay, so let's move to the other slide. Uh, we share our feelings about climate change, so I want to know what shapes your reaction to climate change? Is it personal experience, media exposure, or something else? Maybe you had experience with climate change impact itself, or maybe climate disaster. So please raise your hands. Okay, let's start with Miss Najwa Hadijah. But the first, welcome to our discussion, Miss Najwa.
Okay.
Do you mind to answer this question, Miss Najwa? Please share your thought about this.
Uh, I'm personally feels feel anxious and the reality talk a lot about the climate change.
All right. So, what shapes your reaction, do you think, to climate change itself? Is it because your personal experiences or media exposure or something else that can influence your reaction to climate change itself?
I think mix of within my personal experience and the media exposure as also shapes my reaction about the climate change.
Okay, so what kinds of content on media social that shape yours or influence your thought about climate change itself?
Sorry, I cannot with the last question. I
Oh yeah.
cannot.
Um,
Maybe Miss Najwa want to hear again the question, Miss Sri.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what kind of content on social media that shape your reaction to climate change or climate issues? Maybe it's a disaster news or the climate action news or something else.
Yeah, something about the news about disaster. Of course, it means makes me very more anxious about the climate change.
Okay, thank you. So for you, disaster-related news seems to have a strong impact on how you react to climate change, right?
Yeah, it's very impactful for me personally.
Ah, I feel it too, Miss Najwa. Okay, thank you, Miss
And because
Najwa.
of uh
Uh-huh.
the information was very fast to our life because of social media, right? And
Mm-mm-mm.
that makes me the media makes me more anxious about it.
Thank you. So, it sounds like social media exposure can make some issues like climate issues feel more present, like the news spread around us, and so huge, right? And sometimes we see the negative of the impact itself. Okay, so let's move to Mr. Angga Kusuma.
Can you hear me now?
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
Sorry, Mr. Angga.
Hello,
Yeah, yeah,
is my voice clear?
yeah, yeah. You're audible.
Okay, thank you for the question. For me, it's the combination of all of those uh, points that you mentioned here about the like my reaction to climate change is actually shaped by personal experience, uh, how how I experience the climate change, the disasters like flood and then drought and so on. For instance, because I used to live in a place near the river, so whenever there is rain, like 1 hour heavy rain, my region could be flooded by water, and we couldn't really go freely to anywhere in our region. Uh, but at the time, at first, I didn't really know the reason behind it. I just thought that it's just a normal thing, because climate is changing. But when I read the news, when I learn and also involved in the communities advocating for environmental and climate issues in general, then I knew that our problems, disasters happening in our places are not simply caused by nature. It's actually man-made, where of course the climate is always changing, right? For decades, for the centuries, but the the face of the climate change is totally affected by or pushing uh, or pushed by the human. And then I realized that we have to do something about it if we wanna fix our problem such as climate change. We have to involve. We have to really share the awareness so that the people who are responsible for this can pay more, can be responsible for you know creating this disaster happening in our area. Maybe that's my explanation. Thank you so much. Back to you, moderator.
Thank you, Mr. Angga, for sharing that. So, uh, is it about your personal experiences with the flooding, and you live near the river, right? So, you directly experiencing the climate change itself. That's raise your climate awareness or ecological awareness, and you realize that climate change, it's not about nature, but sometimes it's about human behavior. So you said we need to do action to prevent the climate change impact.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, that's so insightful point of view, Mr. Angga, and thank you for sharing your um experience. Okay, let's move to the other participants. Miss Maratua, is this Miss Maratua or Mr. Maratua?
Mr.
Okay,
Hello
Mr.
guys.
Maratua. Yes, please,
Um,
Mr.
maybe the first when I introduce. My name is Maratwara. Nice to meet you all. Uh, so I think that this is question and I'm really so exciting to discuss. Perhaps climate change related with the environmental, social governance. If we talk about impact, impact regarding related with the environment. So if we can be thinking about environmental related climate change, I think we have problem with the air quality, something like temperature, maybe increase temperature, and then after that, yeah, of course, if we feeling the temperature increase, of course, can be impactful for social governance. So the conclusion, my opinion, maybe climate change this issue because from uh, so many factors, maybe from human activity impact, maybe for example, every day we we are use we are use uh, oil, and then after that we oil can be impact to air quality monitoring, and then after that uh, it can be impact for uh, even for greenhouse gas. I think this is my opinion. Maybe that's my opinion, Miss Fred. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Maratua. So if I understand correctly, you are saying that environmental problems like air quality and rising temperatures not only affect of the not only affect the environment but also have social and economic impacts on our lives, right?
Yeah. And then impact for governments
Oh yeah.
include as environment, social governance.
Mm-mm. Yeah, I do agree with let's see right now our government and the program of our government, the sustainability and SDGs is the top goals of our government, right?
Right.
Um, I want to know, are you living in metropolitan city?
Maybe you can repeat your question, Missy.
Okay, Mr. Maratua, I want to know because you mentioned the air quality earlier, so I want to know, are you live at a big city or metropolitan city? Because we know that the air quality um,
Yeah.
there is such, let's say, it doesn't good enough.
Okay. Okay. So before, I'm sorry. That sound is not good. Sometimes I don't hear sound, so I want to explain. I want to try to explain your question. So, well, uh, my position in the company, in the construction activity. Sometimes I'm living in the city, and I think I feeling that sometimes uh, feeling like increase temperature. So maybe for
All right,
maybe
so uh,
yes,
it's affect you directly,
sometimes I really feel for like hot condition, hot condition, and then yeah, maybe if
right?
we all live in the city, maybe we can feel about impact uh, increase temperature, and maybe and then we can feel greenhouse gas, like impact from uh, CO, from like use oil. Maybe that's my opinion. Uh, my answer, Miss Suri. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Maratua. Wow, so uh, I
Sorry,
couldn't do agree more with you because yeah,
I wanna ask you, do you hear my song? Do you hear my answer? Because my network is not good in the here. Do you hear my answer?
yeah. I tried to get your answer clearly, Mr. Maratua. I tried.
Or uh, mm, in the in the mm, in my place network not good. Sorry, but do you hear me? about answer.
Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mister. So, I get that your point. You said the temperature or the climate change, let's say like the climate change has affect your, let's say you said your CEO.
No, no.
Okay, sorry.
You not job or what? I don't understand your question. Sorry, can you explain your question, Miss Sri? So sometimes I don't hear
Yeah.
because in my place network so bad.
Yeah. Mr. Maratua.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. Mr. Maratua, your voice sometimes um unclearly, but I try to get your point. So let me clarify your point, right? Um, you said that the temperature or climate change impact had affect your job, isn't it?
No, 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 no.
Okay.
Mm, uh, I'm just explaining environmental aspect impact from the topic climate change. So this is climate change from uh, everything human activity. So now, right now, uh, yeah, right. I'm working for a company, but the not uh, not contribution for climate change. I think so, but sometimes we have so many control for anticipation uh, for climate change for program.
All right. So you say it's the human activity affect the climate change. So we could take the responsibility to reduce the negative impact of climate change.
Yeah, right, 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 right. Sorry.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Maratua. So we go to the audience for this topic. Sorry. Okay, Mr. A, B.
Guys, can you hear my voice clearly, Miss Hikmah, Miss Sri?
Sure, very
Yeah.
clear.
Okay. Before we go too far to see next slide, I just want to ask to all of you guys, what is the highest temperature in your location? Have you ever measured it with temperature gun or thermometer or what? Can you spill to me? In my location in South Kalimantan, the peak temperature when 12 o'clock, it can reach 42 degrees Celsius. Have you ever measured in your location?
Wow.
So,
Okay, Mr. A, B.
Uh,
Miss Hikmah?
I just
all
with
right.
temperature.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. I'm really concerned about the temperature, of course, since I live in Surabaya. And I think
Okay.
it's around I have experienced the degrees is around almost 40 if I'm not mistaken. Back to
Mm-hmm.
2023, right? Say when it was
Mm-mm.
the situation of I forget about what is it? The oh my God,
El,
what is
El
the things
Nino.
that happened in 2023 during the October? We felt that's so hot, and even we feel the sun in front of our at our we can feel the sun at our head. And I still remember the feelings. I forget what is the name. What is the name of the situation back at that time? It's El Nino. Is it
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, El
So
Yes,
Nino.
El
I
Nino.
yeah,
searched
it's
it.
El Nino. So yes, I remember that time. So I remember that time is around 40 degrees in Surabaya.
Yeah. 40 degrees.
Yeah, it's probably if I'm not mistaken, because yeah, I couldn't even open my
Oh.
eyes when I ride my motorcycle to the university. And
Mm-hmm.
back at that time, I was complaining a lot about the weather, and I even moved to the another in the coast to find air conditioner because I cannot what is it? I cannot feel the hot of the temperature. Yeah, I cannot handle it. Yeah, if you ask for my experience, probably the highest levels of the temperature in Surabaya around 40.
Oh, that's hot enough in Surabaya, right? How
Of
about
course.
in your location, Miss Sri? Have you ever measured it?
Okay, I currently live in Lombok, but the highest
Mm-hmm.
temperature of the highest temperature that I experienced in Surabaya, like
Yeah.
Miss Hikmah. So
Mm-hmm.
it's quite, it's so hot for me because I live in Lombok near Sembalun and near mountain, so it's just different with my place. And
Mm-hmm.
I just amazed. 42 degrees is quite extreme, Mr. AB.
Yeah. Your body will be shocked if you direct feel it to your
Yeah,
body, to your
because
skin.
remember that
And
yeah,
how about
I just remember when
um
mm-mm,
Surabaya has 40 degrees. Lombok has what? 38 or 42? What about the
no no
other
it's
participant? Mr. Maratua, where do you stay right now? Have you
Okay,
ever measured the highest level of the temperature in
And
your
Mr. Raden,
location?
can I
okay.
Yeah.
interrupt you for a moment? I'd just like you to start because the discussion is led by Miss Ray, so it is not you
Ah,
who asks for questions. It is led by Miss
I'm so
Ray,
sorry.
so I do apologize. Yeah, I think Miss Ray should lead more, providing discussion, providing questions on the stage. So it is not the speakers who leads the discussion; it's the other way around. So I do beg you to stop right there. And please, for Miss Sri, lead again the discussion. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, guys. I don't want to mean to, but just want to ask to get
That's
some
okay.
information.
All
So
right.
that's my bag. I'm so sorry. Please
It's
continue,
okay, Miss
mystery.
A. It's okay, Miss Abby, also for your effort to sharing the discussion, and also thank you so much for Mr. Sunny for reminding us. And okay, let's start again for the discussion. See, I had it over.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Hikmah. So, um, let's introduce the climate anxiety itself. So, climate anxiety refers to feelings of worry or distress about climate change and its future impacts. It reflects emotional response to environmental threats, but it doesn't necessarily mean a clinical disorder. So while you feel worried about climate change or you care about the negative impact in the future or something, it doesn't mean you had a psychological disorder, especially clinical disorder. So it's not about the disorder itself. Because this issue has spread in globally. In many countries, climate anxiety has also translated into collective actions, like, for example, Fridays for Future is a global youth climate movement demanding stronger climate policies, and the another one is youth climate strikes, the student-led protests that raise public awareness and push government to take climate action. Okay, these movements have had a significant impact. They help bring climate action or climate change into public debate, increase media attention, and pressure the policymakers to respond to climate change. Now, let's see an Indonesian climate change risk. Indonesia is considered highly vulnerable to climate change, like sea level rise, flooding, extreme rainfall, the high temperature, and until the food insecurity. It will affect our social, economic, and why do you think climate anxiety appears less visible in Indonesia compared to some other countries? Please raise your hands. Okay, Mr. Rangga, please.
Yes, thank you for your questions and your information you provided earlier is also.
Mr. Rangga, you mute your microphone.
Oh no, I already spoke for one paragraph. Sorry. Well, okay, let me try to answer again your question. Wait.
You are mute again, sir.
Ah, shit. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, I think that although for me at least, or I think it's a fact that says that climate change impacts are mostly felt or experienced by the people in the global south countries, including Indonesia, where we are like our populated, how to pronounce it, nation, where we are covered by so many islands, right? So, for example, the sea level rise can impact the smaller islands in Indonesia, where people can no longer live or reside on this island, so they are forced to move, and also droughts and everything. But on the other hand, although the problems are clear and obvious in Indonesia, but why are
awareness not really shown in the society in our country, and also even the resistance compared to people in other countries, especially people in the global south, like climate change movements. Indonesia are still dominated by like NGOs or environmental groups, whereas people, even students in the global south, in the global north, they already advocate for climate change. I think one of the issues is about the uh, not the awareness. I think the awareness doesn't come first. I think it comes from the economic reasons where people in Indonesia are are dominated by lower class citizens. They're poor. They don't have access to education and infrastructure. They don't have stable jobs, etc., etc. So I think that people are more focused on problems related to their livelihoods instead of environment, which for them at least don't really affect their daily life, like indirectly. But when we look at the when we look this deeper, our environmental or climate change disasters are closely linked to our livelihoods, right? As I mentioned earlier, when there's flood happening in your region, when you're farmers, you you cannot really enjoy or do your businesses there as a farmer, as a peasant, because yeah, your land is no longer productive. And for fishermen, also when the seas are not safe for them to sail to fish, their incomes will decrease also. So for me, environmental issues or climate change are closely linked to livelihoods, jobs, opportunities, etc., etc. But again, the main problem is the people are still really focused on their livelihoods, like economic reasons, compared to the people in the global north, because they have relatively higher wages, more stable jobs, so they can think um, other issues outside economic, climate, such as climate change, for example. I think that's one of the reasons I could highlight. Yeah, I also mentioned it in our group. I hope everybody can also respond to this important question from the moderator. Thank you. Back to you.
Okay, thank you for that
Yes, sorry.
insight. So, if I understand your point, even though climate change impact are quite visible in Indonesia, especially for some group like let's say fishermen or they who live in how to say kepulauan in the island. But here is the paradox. So many people may prioritize the economic and livelihood concern that, but this issue was connect with the climate change because it's affect the weather cycles. I mean, because I do agree when we live in this location, like me who live with um sorry how to say mm, okay, I live with a lot of farmer here, so um I know it's really affect the economic of the people. So let's move to Na. Hello, Miss Na or Mr. Na. How could I call you? Are you here, Na? Okay, maybe um we move to Mr. Sunshine or Miss Sunshine.
Yes, it's me.
Oh yeah, Mr. Sunshine.
Yes. Yeah, thank you for the time given. So, I honestly believe that what has been stated by Mr. Anga is true. Probably, there is a growing, or I can say a higher level of anxiety. So, it really connects with the survivability, the way how they can survive this tough life, because they even couldn't maintain or could gain the ability to get the fundamental needs in their life, like sandang pangan papan. It is not been well achieved. It is not easy. It is therefore they'd rather to be more interested in short-term gain rather than long-term risks. Because I can see that the climate change is can be categorized into something long-term that happens after a few months or few years, but what uh, this anxiety attached to it's something from day to day life. So it is really short term, and they couldn't bear on living without anything, right? It is therefore kind of makes sense that the climate anxiety is far more neglected in our citizens' minds, because more importantly, like what has been stated by Mr. Anga, the quality of education is reflected with how dominant the quantity of informal workers, and the informal workers, they couldn't how to say, it's like go up the ladder because they do not have standardized quality of education, because they couldn't get the opportunity to get higher education, for example. It is therefore they stay in that position. It's harder for them to get a better life, to get a better welfare, leads to or resulting them living in such how to say poor situation. And with that in mind, I can say Indonesia probably need to change the way how they invest in their people, because again the best investment is people investment, how to bring more smart people rather than smart cities or smart infrastructure, but who again will operate that, will we work on that. So we need more people that are smart, educated, to improve the way how they can treat better the environment. I think that's my comment. Mystery, back to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I'm curious with the other thing, maybe Miss Hikma, do you also feel that short-term survival needs also influence how people respond to climate change in Indonesia, especially? So, based on Mr. Sunshine opinion, he said that we should go with the better human resources to to solve this problem.
Yeah,
Please, Ms.
yeah,
Hikma.
yeah. Of course, I agree with both of them, Mr. Ranga and Mr. Sunshine, about why the climate anxiety seems to appear less visible in Indonesia. And also, I want to add additional opinion to that perspective before. I think why climate anxiety appear less in Indonesia, because the effects feel distant. We don't feel the effects right now, so it feels distant from people. So we think that, oh, I don't have to worry about that. I don't feel it right now. But actually, the temperature changes slowly. So yeah, will our we feel concerned, but since the effect is feel distance, and we don't feel it right now, so that's why maybe climate anxiety not really I mean in Indonesian climate anxiety not really visible. And also uh especially for people live in urban area, they not probably less affected, especially in their work. And what I mean by that is, for people live in coastal area, for example, climate change will affect their work. For example, the fishermen, the quality of the fish, the it will affect all of them, and also for the farmer and so on. As you mentioned in your research, if not mistaken, right? So that is it affects it affected for vulnerable people, because they will lose their work or job, and they cannot fulfill their food because of the weather.
Okay, that's an interesting point, Miss Hikmah. So thank you for mentioning my research. And I agree, when risk feel distant in time or space, people may feel less urgency to act because um they feel, let's say, livelihood or the economic issue or daily priority more urgent to them. So the long term issue like climate change is feel less urgent, right? And the study said that too. Okay. Thank you. So, Halona, are you still there?
Maybe you can go on first, Miss Reed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, let's move to the next slide. If you observe the social media last year, I think about the Sumatra disasters, we see a lot of reaction, right? So people often respond strongly after disaster happen. For example, we often see a strong wave of public solidarity, like donate money, volunteer, or organize various forms of community support. So it means our people do care with the disasters after it occur, but it less of the preventive action. Like we never questioning why it's happened. So why is preventive action often weaker than disaster response? Hello, Mr. Raby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Um, I want to answer the previous question from the previous slide about why in Indonesia, the news about climate change, about the impact, uh, are less too visible. I think, in my opinion, the biggest reason is what or who's control the media. Yeah, in the focus, still why we don't speak up, why we don't um feel worry before the disaster happen. But if we talk about the media, It's hard to describe. It's hard to discuss why this happened. I think, for the example, this disaster in Sumatra 2025, um, many people of us are making contra to the government. Why this happened, and why government cannot be prevent the impact? Sorry, guys. Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah, yeah.
The climate change is inevitable for Indonesia because the climate change is still happening in around the world due to atmosphere um, factors. It comes to that day in a day, but the impact, the effect to Indonesia, um, we can control a little bit. How can we control it? And in a way, sorry guys, does it stop?
That's okay, Mr. Ivy. Thank you for your opinion. And yeah, Miss Ri.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that perspective. You questioning how we can control the disaster, right? But before we talk about it, let's hear Mr. Angga Kusuma. Maybe he have that explanation. Mr. Angga.
Oh, sorry. Okay. This question is interesting because it's happening. It's often leading to like more serious problems, issues, right? And one of the reason is because I think that preventive action is more expensive uh, for for the government. If let alone if they don't prioritize this as a serious issues. And investing in, for example, mitigations like climate mitigation things such as energy transition or other related issues are more yeah, expensive, and the impacts, the results are less tangible because it can only be seen in a longer period of time, which is uh, less popular, or the attention put to it is how do I say it? Like the government doesn't really want to uh, achieve the problems who are in the long whose impacts, whose result are felt in the longer period of time. So it's also bad for their political reasons, I think. So yeah, that's the issue here. And another thing is because the problems of the disasters caused by climate change are even exacerbated by the government itself. In the case of Sumatra, for instance, many experts suggest that it's caused by the massive land deforestations for palm oil plantations and also mining, right? That were issued or owned by the businesses closely linked to the government agencies or policymakers. That's why it's less beneficial for them, for I think, to do disaster like mitigations compared to the preventive action. And another issue is because preventive action, like for example, you do something when the disaster happens, it's more tangible. People can see what you do, right? When the government is helping or carrying rice, for example, that could be seen um, more than other mitigative actions that they do. So yeah, I think that's those are some of the reasons for the questions that you provide here. Thank you. Back to you, Miss Ri. Thank you for the question.
Thank you for sharing that perspective, Mr. Angas. It's so interesting. Okay, you point that climate mitigation policies can be expensive and the benefits are often long term, which may make them less attractive politically. So, um, you said that climate mitigations or disaster mitigations can give our government positive branding, right?
No, it's the other way around. It's less tangible basically because
Yeah, yeah.
the results of it can only be seen in the longer period of time after they don't like they won't be in government anymore. So they only want to achieve the problems that are more tangible, at least can be achieved in 3 or 4 years, so that they can use it as a leverage for their political in their political arena in the election, for example. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Okay. So now I want to know, who is it? Mr. Sunshine?
Sure. Okay. In regard with discussion, mm, I do slightly agree with what has been stated by Mr. Ranga, but I'd like to focus more on how the current focus of our government is toward the economy. So there should be some theories regarding um, economic dominance over environments, environment's dominance over economic, and the balance positions between both. But the current government focus on how to increase the GDP growth by 8% in 2029, if I'm not mistaken. So I do believe that this kinds of preventive measures toward environmental disaster, it is not profitable. It doesn't bring any enough economic profits expected that can empower the economic of overall people in Indonesia. Rather than that, doing environmental measures considered as something that become impediment or impact the economic growth. It is not included in the priority programs of our president. It will be a different situation where there are a huge number of environmentalists, politicians that are providing huge significant feedback on how it is important to improve the current policies made. For example, by always considering the environmental impacts in every policies made in all ministries. But unfortunately, this doesn't happen, and it is therefore with regards to the complexity of current economic situations with different area of Indonesia, um, more importantly, we fully realize just how uncertain the geopolitical tensions we have right now. And of course, we still need to consider this as a fundamental factor because we still need some external commodities, for example, like crude oil or, for example, our palm oil when it comes to exporting our products to out to different countries. So internationally, this also prevent the way how uh, our government see to the right path. I mean, like this right path is something morally, how to say, morally brought to everyone's POV. I mean, like something's moral is justifiable in its own way. I mean, like different people have a different moral perspective, right? But again, just uh, to sum up, I think yep, preventive action is not only long term. If it is long term but bring more profits, I think I think the preventive actions will be somehow uh, taken into considerations by other government. But again, the problem is that it doesn't happen because our government, our country still rely more on how to increase the revenue by relying on extractive industries. Even though, even though to some extent, we also improve it by how to say it's like by engaging in downstreaming or hilirisasi. But again, the downstreaming itself can be still considered as something that is exacerbate the actual worsening conditions of our environment, right? Yeah, it is therefore we don't know exactly how the policies in regards to how these industries, how these companies can still maintain, can still do something. I mean, like the TSR, community service, is not enough. It is always used as greenwashing. It's like as if they prevent or they mitigate um, from negative impacts to happen because of their companies, but actually it doesn't happen that way. It just the way how they can evade from tax or tax evasion and something so on like that. But this is something that our government need to look into more deeply because otherwise, at the very least, we can still do some preventive actions by relying on the environmentally lead TSR that is how to say is evaluated from periods to other periods. So this is need to be done very meticulously. So at the very least, we can prevent something more disasters to happen. If I'm not mistaken, I also happened to see today in Tibet there is a landslide. I mean, like this is literally happening in the midst of our city, and it's something big. Again, at the end of the day, the environment will remind us on something that's not right happening now. Back to you again, Mystery.
Thank you. What's an insightful point of view. So, your main point seems to be that economic priorities often dominate the environmental concern in policy decision in Indonesia, right?
Exactly, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sunshine. So let's move to the next slide. Let's look back to our traditional communities. So, in some traditional communities, environmental protection was embedded in cultural beliefs. For example, forests or certain trees were considered sacred, discouraging people from exploiting them. Or maybe another myth. So, do you think these traditional beliefs or myths once help protect nature? Okay, Mr. Angga.
Yes. Yeah, I think that how to say uh, indigenous people uh, through their own traditional beliefs or myths have um, their own ways of preserving the environment, um, which therefore they can protect their environment, their forests, for example, their seas, for not only decades but also centuries, for generations, right? Only after the massive industrializations pushed by capitalistic motives uh, can the destructions happen in their areas, in their surroundings. When we look um, into the data regarding the scale of when we're talking about the forest destructions or deforestations uh, or land degradations, it happens more often for the last 30 to 40 years, right? When we are talking about the Kalimantan case, for instance, than centuries ago. Yeah, it's because now people's connections, like indigenous uh, people's connections to their land, to their forests, have been diminished, reduced by the activities, industrial activities conducted by industries and supported by the government policies. So which force people to leave their land, to leave their forests, to leave their regions, and move them to urban areas. Therefore, when we see why more and more people are moving to the cities, big cities, metropolitan cities, because they no longer have decent lives in their villages, in their countrysides, because many of their areas have been what to say replaced by um, like development activities, including infrastructures, industry, and so on, which some say, like the government say, it can create jobs, but unfortunately, the jobs which are created are not equal to the jobs that are lost, that lost. So that's the problems here. So back to your question about traditional beliefs can help and protect the nature. Obviously, it can protect the nature, and I do think that we could or we should establish um, or reintroduce the ways in which indigenous people, the way of life, how they protect the environment to current or future generations that will shape our world, our region, our place. That's from me. Thank you so much, Miss Sri. Back to you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Angga. That's a beautiful opinion. So, I wonder of Maratua opinion. Hello, Maratua, Mr. Maratua. Okay. Um, move to Miss Hikmah.
Yeah, thank you. Do you think traditional beliefs or myths once helped to protect nature? I do believe about that. I think we have a lot of myths and virtue that help us to protect the nature because we were practice animism and dynamism, right? So when traditional people or indigenous people, when they practice animism, they believe that mountain, river, a forest have a spirit, so that's why they protect them. But I think even though that would help to protect nature, it's not enough because the motivation or the perception behind that is not about, it's not ecological awareness. It's not about to 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 for, I mean, for long term, for long term impact, but it's to protect their belief about something that they something that they trust or about their faith. So yeah, it could be okay, but as Mr. Angga said, that we have to like incorporate it with the current approach about how to protect nature, and then we can also use that to to reshape their perspective, but still keep their old perception or their old belief. And but this is like a paradox because somehow beliefs not only protect nature but also can make us abandon nature. For example, I know this is really contradict. I'm kind of afraid to say this. For example, in a religion, right? We believe that if something happened, it's because fate or is do not love. It's because fate or I have heard about flood in Sumatra because some people abuse an orphan in a mosque, so that's why God um, punish them with the flood. And so yeah, I think it's dangerous to have that those kind of beliefs because it's a blur the exact problem. We focus on not the real problem. We focus on something abstract, and I know that's a belief and we respect people belief, but we have to see the reality, the real problem, what happened in our earth. Yeah, so yeah, it's a paradox. It can protect the nature and also it can harm the nature, right?
All right. It's so interesting how you see the other's perspective. Like Mr. Aga said, our indigenous people try to protect nature with maybe let's say myths or something, but it changed because the industrial scale. So, but something interesting with Miss Hikmah when you said people start to questioning why this has happened to us, and I do see that a lot of comment or post on social media who said that this is karma,
Yeah, what the hell
this
is
is
that?
the
It's karma's
punishment
fate.
from that, and of social awareness disaster and climate disaster, and it's because of the environmental is not about who do the immoral behavior and it affect us.
Yeah, yes, I really believe that. Belief,
Okay.
yeah, and fate can affect people behavior and also action due to climate change.
Uh, yeah, maybe it's because in Indonesia it's give us more do the external locus of control, right, than the internal. So everything happened because the fate or the other hands, not because us as individuals. Okay, let's move to the next slide. Uh, okay, I will skip it because I think it's similar with the past question. So, um, Many people say they care about the environment, but at the same time, the behaviors like the plastic and blue concern and action here. Okay, please, Mr. Maratua.
Mr. Marato, I think is no longer here.
Okay. So, Mr. Abi. All right, let's move to Mr. Sunshine.
Okay. Okay, me again. Back to discussion again. Um, okay, big gap between concern and action. I think our government is not sufficient to produce uh more policies regarding environmental preservation. Um, yes, it happened, but it's a very limited. It certainly happened in more limited areas like regional instead of as the national policies. But we also need to consider the difficulties or the adversity to implement or to apply the national based policies. I mean, like when the central government would like to impose uh, policies to be executed in the region or local areas, it certainly go clashing against the regional policies as well to improve the current economic or situations in local areas. So this is something that is currently happening. There is how to say desynchronize or the confrontations of the policies between the central and also the regional areas government. Um, um, in addition to that, I think a lot of regional governments. I think we can no longer rely on the central government because I know to say it like how is this like brutally honest, I think the government has been occupied with their own ambiguous something. So something that is need to be taken into account is how the regional level governments, for example, like the province or probably it's like more it's like smaller. For example, like in Kabupaten Regency areas or the cities areas, I think many of them need to open their eyes on how the waste, the economic benefits of waste recycle can actually empower the needs toward energy and also their economy. I do believe that there are less leaders or politicians in these areas that are not open to this case or not being aware of this case yet. For example, like if I'm not mistaken, there is one happening in Boyolali or something. It's happening in the one of the one of the cities in central Java province, and even it becomes the pilot project for Chinese, or even like it goes international. It is so well known internationally, recognized for its reputations to improve the economic of the people by improving the way how they recycle the waste. So this is something that is a strong message for us that again everything depends on the leaders. So we can say it like the political will of the leaders. Okay, so I can say that as long as the money politics still works well in our society, I'm like our society still hasn't fully realized the importance of making choices, making thoughts based on reflecting their current condition. They do not change the political culture in their areas. Uh, I can say bye bye uh, to the changes itself because because otherwise many people will still vote the leaders that are not appropriately chosen. They don't have any awareness toward educations, toward environments, and I think the KPK have been caught a lot, have been catching a lot of people right now in OOT or Operasi Tangkap. And yeah, that's just indicate just how um, even though they earn education, it doesn't mean that the education itself is implemented in the way how they lead people, in the way how they increase the quality educations or the societal welfare benefits and so on. Yeah, so this is a big gap. I mean, like more I can say it's like the political culture. So I think there should be more leader truly representing the environmental wills while still maintaining how to balance it with the way how they can improve the economic of the people. They need to learn from what's happening in the pilot project happening in one of the cities in Central Java. I think that's it, Miss Ri. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sunshine. That's a very valid point, especially when we consider the environmental challenge, the stronger policies, and we could learn at the pilot project at Central Java, especially Boyolali, right? So I wonder how Mr. Angga Kusuma opinion about this topic.
Um, Sorry, I guess I was uh out. I left before. Did you have the statement before this question?
Okay. There is such a big gap between concern and action. Then Mr. Sunshine said that we need a stronger policies like in province or kabupaten regency. So um,
Hmm. Sorry, your voice is like lagging. Sometimes I could hear, but sometimes I couldn't.
Hello, Sri. Hello, Miss Sri. I think Miss Sri is freezing in my side. Okay, let me text her first.
Yeah, I think she has a connectivity issue.
Yeah, of course. Let's wait. Oh, she's already here?
Yeah, welcome
sorry,
back.
sorry, sorry. My Wi-Fi is off.
Okay, now it's
Okay,
clear.
wait, I will share it. Okay, Mr. Angga.
Yes. Um, are we talking about people like including the society, the citizens, in general, or are we specifically um, directing our conversation to the government, who is
No,
responsible for?
okay. It's all about us. It's not directly to the government.
Mhm. Ah, I see, I see. for me, when they care about the environment, uh, it should be proven both by their uh, by their what's that, by their statement and their action. So it should be aligned. When they care about the environment, so they should uh, do all those two things, in my opinion. On the other hand, when they don't do those things, when you only talk, not uh, not implement, that means that, yeah, you just don't care about the environment. For example, when you really care about the environment, you have to pay attention to how you not recycle, how you dump your rubbish. For example, do you do it in the right way, or not, or the other way around? Yeah, I think that's the issue here. Sometimes most of people don't know how to act, how to care about the environment. Although, um, yeah, probably they have like religious reasons to take care their environment. But for me, again, it should be shown both by their actions and behavior, and also statements. And then the yeah, um, when it comes to the gap between the two. Um, yeah, I think it's going back to my previous statement. It's about the awareness. It's about uh, because when I'm talking about the awareness, it should be both. Okay, again, um, and then I think that not all people equally have the same responsibilities. Um, so the government, they because they have policies, they have the instruments. So this issue should be handled more by the government. For example, by creating uh, a space for people where they can be more aware of how to take care about the environment, like simply by giving punishment uh, for the people or companies, industries who um, that uh, commit bad things, for example. So yeah, but I believe there will be questions regarding that point later. I think I stop here first. Thank you, Mystery. Back to you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Angga. That's so interesting point from you. So let's move to the next. This is the last question actually, and it's linked to Mr. Angga. Sorry. It's linked to Mr. Angga opinion. So, who should take the biggest responsibility for climate action? Is it individuals, government, corporation, communities? Maybe you can elaborate this question with Mr. Angga point of view, or maybe you had a different perspective for these questions. Okay, I wanna know, Mr. AB. Hello, Mr. AB. Are you here?
I think Mr. Evie have a problem with connection because he mentioned before that, yeah, they have a problem in his connections. Maybe you can point to someone else.
Okay, let's hear Miss Hikmah.
Really? I asked you to point to someone else, maybe Mr. Ranga or Mr. Sunshine. Okay, so who should take the biggest responsibility for climate action? I think all of them, all of us. We have to take responsibility to protect the world that we live. Individual, government, corporation, communities, we have to work together to build, to create a safe environment, because it's not only for us, but also for our future generations. Yeah, so individuals can start by not use a plastic bag, for example, and do more campaign in a social media, and also government can make a policy that probably give a punishment to someone do, uh, for example, a forest. What is it? I forgot the name. Give a punishment to someone that's maybe ruin the forest, or corporation do more campaign, and also the community. So when we build great teamwork to work on this issue, I believe that we can get a better result.
Thank you, Ms. Hikma. So, you're highlighting the idea of shared responsibility for climate action, right? Let's hear Mr. Who is it? Mr. Aga or Mr. Sunshine? Let's start with Mr. Sunshine first.
Okay, I think I need to blame the government in this situation, because the government are chosen, so they are given mandate from our society to handle any issue, especially relating to the environments that, as a matter of fact, exacerbates the economic situation expected for the um, Indonesians people, right? And more importantly, I think the government has all the facilities, all the infrastructures, tangible or intangibles, that they can use to apply the most beneficial policies expected to save not only the economy but also the environments. They can exercise to the fullest all the resources, including the human resources, by selecting the relevant ISN or civil servants uh, that can help them to improve the quality of policies they made for the people, right? And the second, of course, it's the cooperation, because the corporations, I can say that they can benefits over the communities, over the people. So they should be the one to be taken into account, how they can improve the situation, right? So the benefit over how a lot of people, like in how to say, it's in powerless, in helpless situation, right? Because, like, for example, by doing more, by doing something like extractive industries, for example, coal or something else, they destroy the nature, and the local people, I mean, like, living in the local areas doesn't benefit at all from the action. So I think there should be blame in this situation, and uh, we need to understand that um in broader, in bigger picture, I think the structures of our government still relying on the oligarchy to be chosen as the leaders, right? So I can say the roles of the corporation is still high, and it is therefore behind every policies made by the government. It is the benefits for the corporation. So after the government, corporation should be blamed on in this situation, in this circumstance. So any occurrences negatively impacting the people because of the environment. So we need to really investigate what's happening behind the picture, behind the background, right there. For example, like what's happened in Banten, when there is how to say, it's like physical abuse done by the teachers toward the students, but this case is like buried faster, because behind the school there is, like, how to say, EUP or something. It's like mining, I mean, like, illegal mining happening there. So it's really concerns on the I'm sorry. It's really relates to how, oh my God. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm playing games. Yeah, back to you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sunshine. Thank you for raising that point about the role of government and corporation in environmental policy. So, I want to know the last statement of this question to Mr. Angga Kusuma, and maybe this is the last question for us.
Okay. I thought Mr. AB can go first. Or it's me? It's my turn?
Yes, it's your turn because Mr. AB, due to his connection, it's so bad. So,
Oh yeah, sure. I'll be happy to respond. Well, first of all, I think when we're talking about the biggest responsibilities, it lies on the government first. When I'm talking about the government, it's the government in the rich nations, especially industrialist nations, like the UK, the US, Germany, and so on, countries in the global north, because they have uh, like historically they're responsible for roughly more than 80% of green house emissions. They emitted more emissions than most countries on Earth. Therefore, they should be responsible for this by funding countries in the global south to take climate action. Secondly, it's the corporations, especially large corporations that cut our trees, that emit emissions by their industries, like fossil fuel industries, like coal, for example, that emitted more emissions. So when I'm talking about the corporations, yeah, it's a big corporation, especially the fossil fuel corporations. And then, uh, of course, when we are talking about the corporations, it's the wealthy individuals, the rich people who uh, travel a lot by plane, for example, more than other lower class people, working class people. So they should take the biggest responsibilities for this. We have to tax them. Even we have to um, take over the productions that are individually owned and produced, change or replaced by social or communal modes of productions. They're more sustainable for our environment. Of course, it doesn't mean that individuals and communities cannot be blamed. We all should take the responsibilities, but when we weigh the burdens, of course, they should be put more in the like bigger uh, corporations and also large um, industrial nations. Thank you. That's my perspective. Back to you, Kak Sri. Thank you so much for your question.
okay, thank you, Mr. Angga Kusuma. That's a beautiful point. So, you're highlighting that those who contribute the most to emissions should also take the biggest responsibility for climate action. Thank you for that point. So, this is our last question, and I should say thank you for all of you and OTA community. Today, we learned that many people are aware of climate change and even feel concerned about it. Turning out that concern into action can be challenging because there is such a factor as economic priorities, political decisions, and perception of risk all play a role of this issue and this problem. So at the same time, climate action requires shared responsibility from individual governments, corporations, and communities to prevent these climate issues. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you, and I'll return it to Miss Hikmah as a host.
All right, thank you, Nesri, for leading the discussion today, and then thank you for all of you guys for. Oh yeah, Miss Abby just, Mr. Abby just gave the opinion. Yeah, thank you so much for the last opinion in this discussion. All right, due to limited time, so we have to move to our next session. This is our last session. That is take a picture as usual. We have to have documentation for our discussion today. So I invite you guys to open the cameras so I can. It's okay, Miss Ivy. Don't worry. And as Mr. Sunshine, where are you? Oh, you're here. All right. So who wants to take the picture? So okay, let me take the picture. Okay, 1, 2, 3. One more. Okay. Wait. 1, 2, 3. All right. Thank you so much, guys, for attending this meeting. Mr. Angga, Ms. Sunshine, Miss AB, thank you for your insightful opinion tonight. And also, Sri, thank you so much for accepting my invitation, our invitation in our community to be a moderator. And you give us, that's actually a good question. That's the trigger question that makes us think twice about the current issues and what is the cause or the factor that make people only concerned but not take an action for these issues. All right, guys, thank you so much, and yeah, I'll see you on the next discussion. Bye
Yes, and the
bye.
last we say Hel Ota. Yesterday we say tomorrow. Yes, I
Oh.
think that's the character of Ota. Thank you so much, Miss Ri. Thank you
Okay.
so much, Miss Hikma. Bye
Thank you so
bye. Happy
much, Miss Ria
Monday.
and
Bye
Hikmah.
Very good
Thank you.
bye.
night.
Thank
Bye
you for the opportunity.
bye. Yeah, you're welcome. Bye bye.